Schneider. I write under C.L. Schneider. I'm the author of the Crown of Stones trilogy. I write dark, epic, and urban fantasy for adults. If you like puppies and rainbows and happy endings, these aren't the books for you. But if you like tortured heroes and emotional roller coasters and epic adventures, then you've come to the right place.
What is your writing process? How do you write?
I generally start with a character first. That's usually the first thing that pops in my head, is someone that I want to write about. Usually it comes from either a flaw or a moment in their life or an ability or some trait that I can draw from. And then there's usually a scene that pops in my head after that. And that's kind of where it starts. I pick up a notebook. I always start in a notebook. I love a blank page.
Nice.
Don't like a blank screen so much. So you always start there. And then I don't write in order. I don't write linear. I write whatever scenes are fresh in my mind. And there's not even complete sentences most of the time. It's just scribbles here and scribbles there, and nobody can read it but me, and half the time I can't read it. But I get out what's coming to me as fast as I can, is basically what it is. And then once I have some of those scenes down, then I will go to the computer and I'll start typing them in, as is, with all the nonsense that doesn't make any sense at the time. And then I will marry them together and then make it actually sound like a real story at that point.
Your notebook everywhere you go? So
yes, I always have something with me.
Are you someone that needs background noise, music to start writing, or do you like silence?
I like silence. Occasionally, if I'm not sure what I'm doing and I'm kind of waffling about a scene and I just need to think, I'll put on Netflix like a bad zombie movie, or I love those, something like that, for like background. And it kind of lets my mind wander away from the story for a little while. But I always keep the laptop there in case whatever it is that's bugging me hits me, then I can move on.
What's the most significant change you've noticed in your own writing from book 1 to book 3?
In the beginning, I think I over-explained a lot. I didn't have enough faith in myself, I think, that I was coming across the way I wanted to, and maybe not enough faith that my readers were picking up what I was trying to say. And so I definitely tended to over-explain. Definitely my beta readers helped me a lot with that. They'd be like, no, we got it 5 pages ago.
How do you handle an editor's note that you don't agree with?
I guess it depends. If it's something that I feel like is crucial to the character and the story, like I try not to let it be like, oh, I love this little piece of writing, I can't let it go. That's, because I'll just cut that and put it somewhere else or save it for another book. So I don't really think it bothers me if it has to do with just a certain way I've written something, or something that's, a little bit of a tangent kind of thing. That doesn't bother me. If it's crucial, or if I know it's going to do something later on that maybe he doesn't know or she doesn't know about, then I leave it. That's the beauty of being self-published. I mean, I don't want to be foolish and not listen, when it's really necessary. But at the same time, I know the characters and I know the story.
What do you think is one characteristic all heroes should have?
Besides a kick-ass weapon, let's see.
Hey.
They need to have an inner drive, a reason, a motivation to keep going when everyone else doesn't. When everyone else falls by the wayside, they have to have some sort of inner strength that pushes them forward.
What do you think is the best way to make a character three-dimensional?
Oh, they need to be flawed. They need to have a history, and they need to have things happen to them that they've had to overcome, that again, things that most people might not be able to get past. Anything that's emotional, any emotional trauma, even just, but not trauma, happiness as well. I mean, anything that's really emotional that's going to stick with them and come out later in the book.
Do you think it's important for your ancillary characters to be three-dimensional, not just your antagonist and protagonist?
I do. Yes, I try. Obviously, if it's just a line or two, it's not, but yes, there's definitely some characters in my books that I feel like I've tried to really give them more depth than, just a pass. You don't want it to just have a passing glance, because they're having an effect on your main character. If they're affecting him in some way, whether it's a friendship or, even if they're fighting. I mean, why are they fighting? What's his reason? Why is he coming after him? I think it adds something to the story if they're not just flat and wheeling a sword around.
You sat your characters down in a room and asked them one question. What do you think is the one answer that they would both give the same?
Well, I think if you were to ask them both which one of you is doing the right thing, they would both say, I am. Because I do believe that most villains, and at least the ones that I try to create, they believe that they're right. But they're not just going out, being crazy and killing people and raiding villages and for the heck of it because they're pure evil. I think, they believe in what they're doing, even though their beliefs are twisted.
So what's the best line or scene that you've written that surprised you when you read it back to yourself?
Any of the scenes where my main character, where Ian Troy is facing his own demons. He's got a lot of them, but he handles it. He rises up over them. There's a chapter in book 2, I think would probably be the one that would stand out the most, where he starts out definitely at the bottom, and by the end of that chapter, he is full of power and he is in charge, and that's one of my favorites.
What's the best thing about being indie?
Control. I love having control over my cover and my word count and my price.
Complete this sentence for me. Marketing my book is like...
It can be painful in the fact that it's nonstop, and if you let off the gas, you can see the results. But I also find it a lot of fun. I never thought I would. I'm not necessarily an extrovert, and I was not into social media at all. And then I published Magic Price, and people started buying it, and people started reaching out to me, and I'm like, oh my God, I need a website, and I need this, and I need that, and it was like a whirlwind. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I really like this. This is fun. So it's kind of a love-hate kind of thing. It's you got to do it, but then when and you got so much else to do, but then when you sit down to do it, you can't get away because it's fun. It's kind of... Find me at clschneiderauthor.com. You can also find me on Twitter and Facebook and Google Plus and Goodreads, but mostly Twitter. I tend to gravitate to that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe. It was
You carry your notebook everywhere you go? So that
I always have. Yes, I always have something with me. Definitely, even if it's not the notebook, I have something, or I will talk to my phone. Whatever, because it never fails. If I don't have something with me, that's when it will hit me. So the shower. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's wherever I am that I can't get to paper is when the idea comes.
Is there a specific place that you find that you get more inspired than others? The best place, honestly, for me is right at my desk.
It really is. It focuses me, and I even out of the couch. That's what's so great about a laptop. One or the other. But I will write outside a lot on a nice day. I'll go out and on the table in the back, and that's definitely a really nice thing. A nice glass of wine and breeze, the trees, and I definitely enjoy writing. I first wrote the first version of Magic Price. It was longer. It was still first person, but it was much longer. It was much more cerebral, less action. Ian was definitely different. And at that time, I actually was looking for an agent. And I had actually got a few bites, and I had communication with one, and he gave me some advice that at the time time I probably could have just folded it and went, like it's just not up to what he was looking for, but it was intriguing, that kind of thing. And I took it and ran with it, and I totally rewrote the entire thing. And I researched every writing book out there, and I upped my game as much as I could, and I sat down and taught myself everything that I feel like I was missing. And I think that was my biggest jump right there.